a great pleasure to be among the panelists, and being as well the last speaker, that means it's more a wrap-up session for me, because the most of work has been done by the great speakers that have spoke before myself. Our common ground, it's a voice from Africa based on Modec's experience in various communities in Africa, and to see what has been happening. As introduction, Africa has been suffering from many natural disasters induced by climate change and anthropic action. We know that Africa is suffering from drought, inundation, storm attack, soil and land degradation, water and food shortages, famine, and pandemics. I think we can already pass the slide from the technical side, please. Thank you. As you see pictures, you can see on the side, they are showing us the level of degradation of land in Africa, and as well some techniques that are used in this regenerative agriculture. The following slide is telling us why a regenerative agriculture, because it's a holistic option to develop resilient agriculture. Is a method to resolve the Africa issue of famine and food shortage, is a quick response to famine in a very family context. It's a sustainable approach to climate change. It gives a coherent cohabitation between humans and the environment. It's an excellent way to restore soil and degraded land, and it is a demonstrated approach to establish water and carbon cycles in soil. I think it was Paul who has presented it very clear to us. It's as well a way for us to improve the carbon sequestration. The following slide is telling us what Africa's countries are doing. Actually, in the area of regenerative agriculture and initiatives that are ongoing in Africa, most of countries are basing the interventions on national communications. Most of them are on the third national communication, others are on the fourth, but mainly actually they are intervening on the NDCs, the National Determined Contribution from the COP21. Most of them are under review, or the NAP or the PAN. Some countries have a development plan where they have programs and projects that are trying to give a response to the negative impact of climate change, or to reduce poverty, food shortages, and water issues. The following slide is giving us an idea about the different development partners that are working in Africa. We see the UN system and the various agencies, the private sector, the bilateral, the community-based organizations, civil society organization, but as well NGOs. They are working in order to have this regenerative agriculture option on the table and keep it going as they are doing this big transformation in the continent. The following slide is the benefit for Africa. Why a regenerative agriculture? It's important because for small farm holders, it's important for them that they are able to do agriculture at that level easily, that agriculture that does not require a lot of input for quality food production. It allows them to do ecological restoration, fight food insecurity, As well, avoid anthropic action. As we know, water shortages, food shortages, energy shortages make the population to mismanage their natural resources, mainly forest. They will use it to cut wood for charcoal, or they will start using unsustainably all what they have as natural resources, and this creates this condition of degrading natural resources and create additional issues in the community. Therefore, this regenerative agriculture allows them to have a proper ecosystem restoration. The picture you can see on the right side, this one is a basin for compost preparation. Maybe we're going to have another picture later on. Okay, what African nations are expecting, as we have voices speaking from Canada and Africa, to see what they're expecting is more support and action to mobilize long-term finance and investment for sustainable development in the sector of agriculture. Most of national communication have demonstrated and said that the agriculture sector has a big impact on the greenhouse gas emission. Therefore, it's important to control the area of agriculture in order to mitigate the negative impact of climate change on the population. They need tangible measures to channel finances and investment to country and sector where they are most needed. As well, it's important to have the private sector to be involved in the context of the societal responsibility. As well, countries need help to implement the NDCs in order to respond to the convention-related engagement and commitment. And that one needs to be done through project and a program that will be supporting those vulnerable communities where water and land are degraded. Like the picture you see on the right side, it's a system where stones are used and to allow to reduce evapotranspiration, to retain water, and to do agriculture, that the tiling will not be a big option, but to avoid disturbing the soil properties. As well, it's important to support those countries to align a program and a project with the National Development Plan, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, and the African Union Agenda 2063. The other slide, what are the opportunities for climate action in Africa? The picture you can see, the one opportunity for climate action, I think it's the previous one. After expected assistance, we have the opportunity for climate action. Yes. This one, for example, you can see this one is a basin for runoff water collection. This basin is used during the rainy season. The excessive runoff water is collected in those basins, and they are used for gardening and for agriculture. The water is used for agriculture. You can see the kind of conditions and the techniques that are used to conserve water, because as you can see, the soil is really hostile for agriculture. But at the same time, they need water to produce crop. And this is one of the basins that they use to collect water. The following slide is just a proposal. Through ACAI, there is a global vision to climate change in Africa. And that global vision, it's important to see how a robust global carbon sequestration mechanism can be put in place. As we say that agriculture accounts for many percentage in the production of greenhouse gases emissions. It's important to have as well the conservation or restoration of forest ecosystem through agroecology or agroforestry. development of policy for the conservation, protection, and preservation of forests and fragile habitats. In the Congo Basin, we are talking mainly, but in most of countries in the Sub-Saharan Africa, they have similar problems. Mobilizing the resources for the development of public and private partnership. As well, the right principle need to be applied, the development of green and sustainable production and the distribution process for donors and private investors. That at a global level. Then at continental level, which is the following slide, the vision would be to develop projects on forests. As I said earlier, population in those areas, forest dwelling population are tempted to mismanage their community forest for the simple reason there is famine, there is poverty, there is no water, there is no food. They have no alternative than to attack forest in order to survive. And they will mismanage that, and the consequences is the anthropic effect of human being on climate change. Then it's important to develop project and program at that level, development of partnership within African regions, how to involve the private sector investment, and make sure that country can benefit all the investment that's available around the world. And finally, at national level, the vision would be to develop a sustainable financial mechanism, create mechanism for guarantee funds for public and private sector, create conditions to practice regenerative agriculture with renewable energy, land change use, and carbon sequestration to make sure that it's allowed for all of them. There is a good and coherent collaboration between farmers, herders, fishermen in the use of natural resources and community natural resources such as forests, and help countries to implement the NDCs through projects and programs. In conclusion, I would say that Africa, as we have heard across Africa, all those champions that have been working in many initiatives, Africa is ready to embark on that great journey, but that great fight as well against climate change, to practice this regenerative agriculture through program, through project, through different initiatives that can be evidence-based production for policymakers, and in order to give a very strong response to the negative impact of climate change. And we can see from now, with all the presentation, which collaboration, which network can be set in place in order to assist those different nations with different programs that will have an impact in the life of people. Thank you very much. And you will see a few pictures of degraded land that are presented in large. Here, for example, you will see degraded land, how it looks like in Africa. And here you need to do agroforestry, you need to do agroecological approach in areas like this, and population need to survive. In other places, this is called a sacred forest, and they don't need to touch it, but you can see that the ecological services need to be improved, and it's only regenerative agriculture that can respond to this. The following picture, as I said, is a nursery. This is a nursery plant. I think it's Burkina Faso. It's a nursery plant in order to repopulate the degraded forest and the degraded area. The following picture is one of the regenerative agriculture technique, which is called half moon. The system allowed the water retention, reduce evapotranspiration, and reduce the runoff of water while the plants are growing up. The following picture, yeah, it's the same. It's the half moon techniques, and here it's a water basin. This area, water basin, is created during the time of rain. Water is retained in the basin in order to be used for agriculture practices. And at the same time, this water is shared by herders, the population, and the farmers. And you can know what can happen in terms of conflict. Therefore, Africa needs support, Africa needs partners, Africa needs actors, Africa needs action in this fight against climate change. Thank you.